can an AI present your research better than you can? I mean, that's a pretty wild question, right? We're all used to AI making pictures or writing essays, but can it really step up and explain super complex stuff, maybe even better than the expert who discovered it? Well, a new paper decided to find out.
So before we get to the AI, you might be wondering, why even bother? Why would you want an AI presenter in the first place? Well, it all comes down to a really big problem in the academic world. I mean, come on, you've been there, right? You spend hours, maybe even days, fighting with presentation software, trying to get the fonts just right, recording yourself over and over, all for a presentation that's what, 5 minutes long? It's a huge time suck.
Okay, now take that feeling and multiply it by 100. That's what it's like for an academic. They have to take a super dense, multi-page research paper, we're talking walls of text, complicated charts, and somehow squeeze all of that into an engaging 5-minute video. It's a massive challenge.
The researchers behind this paper point out that this whole song and dance can take hours, all for that one little video. That's time that could be spent, actually doing more research. So you can see the problem, right? This is the bottleneck that this AI team wanted to break.
All right, so the goal is to build an AI presenter. Simple enough. But wait a minute, there's a trickier problem you have to solve first. How do you even know if a presentation is any good? How do you grade it?
Right. What does good even mean here? Is it just pretty slides? Or is it about whether people actually learn something and remember it later? That's the real test. So the team realized, hey, we can't build a great AI presenter if we don't have a great way to grade it first. You need a good test.
And that's exactly what they did. They built a whole new system, the Paper2 Video Benchmark, with 4 really unique ways to grade an AI video. And these aren't just about looks. Nope. They're all about measuring how well the video actually gets the point across. And a couple of these are seriously clever.
Okay, first, check this out. Present Quiz. This is so cool. They basically made an AI student. This AI watches the presentation and then it takes a pop quiz based on the original paper. It's a simple, brilliant way to see if any information was actually transferred. Did the AI student learn anything? The higher the score, the better the video did its job.
Then you've got something called IP memory. This one tries to mimic what happens at a real conference. Imagine you watch a bunch of talks. Afterwards, can you remember who presented what? Well, this test does the same thing with an AI. It checks if the AI can link the researcher's face to their specific paper after seeing a few videos. It's a great way to test if the presentation was memorable and made an impact.
Okay, so we've got the test. We know how to score it. Now, let's meet the contestant. Let's talk about the AI that's actually going to try and pass this thing. It's called PaperTalker, and it's not just one big AI model. Think of it more like a tiny automated production crew living in a computer. You've got a bunch of different AI agents, and each one has its own special job, all working together to turn that boring paper into a slick video presentation.
So here's how this little crew operates. First, the slide builder agent gets to work. Designing the slides using LaTeX, that's the stuff academics use to make their papers look professional. Next, the subtitle builder writes the script. Then, the cursor builder actually adds a little cursor to point things out on the slide, to guide your eyes. And last but not least, the talker builder creates that realistic talking head of the presenter using a real photo and a voice clip from the author.
But here's the thing. Making good slides is tough, even for an AI. You know how sometimes AI-generated pictures have like an extra finger or something weird? Well, for slides, the AI might make text that runs off the page or images that are all squished. It can look really messy. But PaperTalker has a really clever trick up its sleeve to fix this.
They call it Tree Search Visual Choice, which sounds complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of trying to nail the perfect layout in one shot, the AI makes a bunch of slightly different versions of a slide. Maybe it makes the font a little smaller in one or moves a picture over in another. Then a second AI comes in and acts like a judge. It looks at all the options and just picks the best one, the one that looks the cleanest and most professional. And boom, you go from a total mess to a perfectly clean slide. Okay, so we have our AI presenter. We have our super smart tests. It's time for the showdown. Robot versus human. Let's see how PaperTalker actually did against videos made by the researchers themselves.
And this is where it gets really, really interesting, because the results, they're probably not what you're expecting. Let's look at the numbers. So remember that present quiz, the one where an AI student takes a test after watching the video? Well, get this. The videos made by PaperTalker scored 84.2%. The videos made by humans? 73.8%. That's right. The AI-generated videos were more than 10 points better at teaching the material. That is just wild. It seems like the AI's super logical, structured approach actually makes the information clearer and easier to understand.
But okay, being informative is one thing. What about, just preference? Which videos did people like more? Well, humans still preferred the human-made videos, giving them a 4.6 out of 5. But Paper Talker wasn't far behind. It scored a 3.8, which is way, way better than other AIs they tested. So it might not be the fan favorite just yet, but it's getting awfully close. Oh, and here's the real kicker: speed. Paper Talker was able to create these high-quality videos 6 times faster than a human could. How? Well, it works on all the slides at the same time in parallel instead of one by one. So a process that takes hours gets crunched down into just a few minutes. So what's the big picture here? Does this mean researchers are all going to be replaced by AI presenters? Let's zoom out for a second and think about what this really means.
No, this isn't about replacing people. It's about making science more accessible. Think about it. What if every single research paper could instantly become a clear, easy-to-understand video? That would totally change the game for how science is shared. It would make it so much faster and easier for anyone, anywhere, to keep up with the latest discoveries.
All right, so let's recap the main points. 1, making these academic videos by hand is a massive pain. 2, this new AI, Paper Talker, can automate the whole thing. 3, and this is the big surprise, the AI videos can actually be more informative than the ones humans make. And 4, this could be a huge deal for how we all learn about science in the future. Which leaves us with one last big question. Scientific papers are about as dense and complicated as it gets. If AI can get this good at explaining that kind of information, what could it tackle next? Think about it. Complex legal contracts, confusing financial reports, the latest medical studies. The potential here is, well, it's huge.